The third item on our Sunday six for week 9 is our Victory Unlocked. It's brought to you by Zillow. Agents, tours, loans, homes. The Washington Commanders were not at home. They go on the road the week after that zany win over the Chicago Bears. And they take care of business. They beat the New York Giants 27-22. Not an eye-popping win, but a very impressive one anyway, for the sheer fact that the Commanders got the win and did it with control of this game. The Giants scored late, have an onside kick opportunity to make it interesting, but it never really felt like this thing was in doubt from halftime onward. And even if the stats don't jump off the page or the Commanders didn't put up this crazy score number, to go on the road and just be better than the Giants, it's a statement to me for where this team is in the process and where Jayden Daniels is as a rookie quarterback, to bounce back from being the talk of the NFL world all week, one of the craziest plays any of those guys will ever be part of, and just go play an efficient game of football on the road. I thought it was very impressive. That was the line of questioning I took with our guys, Mark Sanchez and Chris Myers, who were on the call in New York. Well, guys, no Brian Robinson Jr. for Washington, and apparently no problem. What was the key to their ground game staying rolling against New York?
Well, I think Austin Eckler really picked up the slack. I think he tweaked his knee or something and came out of the game, and you insert Chris Rodriguez, and everybody's looking around like, who is this guy? Well, they called him up from the practice squad, drafted him a couple years ago, only in his second year, out of Kentucky, and a 6th-round pick coming up big on the road in a divisional game like this. I mean, that just speaks to the belief that this team has in Dan Quinn, in this system, in Cliff Kingsbury, and the quarterback. And it's so tough to stop this rushing attack because Daniels is a part of that rushing attack. He gives them the numbers advantage in this run game, and that's what made them so successful.
Yeah, Dave, just the threat of Daniels running. He didn't have to a lot, but when he did, it was efficient, over 240 total yards. He had a couple of touchdown passes, but Mark makes the point that the Dan Quinn team, I know it's, talk about culture and atmosphere and selflessness, but this team, the underrated offensive line, right? They've scored more touchdowns on the ground than anybody in the league this year, and they have the right blend of rookies and veterans and new players, and no fluke. I mean, to be 7-2, this is a halfway point of the year. I mean, they're for real.
They look
Anybody
good.
doubt it?
They look good.
With a young quarterback and the emotions of last week winning the way they did on the Hail Mary, I wouldn't have blamed Washington if they'd had a bit of a letdown with all of that stuff in mind. What does it say about them that they were able to play such a clean, efficient game and on the road at that?
Dan Quinn addressed that issue.
Dan Quinn addressed that exact thing because that's the first thing we asked him. After an emotional win like that and an emotional high, it's normal to come out and lay an egg and think everything's going to work out fine. And this team, Dan said they did a great job of acknowledging exactly what they felt, getting their emotions in order, and most importantly, in check. So you can turn the page and move on and get ready for a grinder of a week against a really tough Giants defense. And it didn't quite look like it today, potentially, from the Giants. But I'm telling you, they have players all over the field. They have guys that can, make your run game life difficult. So you could tell Washington was ready, and they put that game last week in its place, got better from it, moved on, and got another victory.
Yeah, top team in sacks, did not have one against Washington. The Giants did not. And refill, he talked about refill the tank, was Dan's exact words about that. And that's another good sign that against a team like Chicago, you cannot play your best football and somehow win it, even though you get a break at the end being in place. And this was a key divisional game. And now I know they have the Steelers next, but the division, I mean, you're fighting off Philadelphia and Dallas. They're going to be tough to topple, especially
it's a tough road to hoe down the stretch here. They got the Steelers and then a short week on a Thursday night. So we're going to learn a lot more about this team quickly in the next 14 days or so.
We absolutely are. But, man, in the meantime, what a fun team. Washington 7-2 for the first time since 1996. It's been such a cool story. Guys, love chatting with you. Thanks as always.
All right. Thank you.
Still wild to me that this is the Commanders' best start as a franchise since the 1996 season. I went back and looked it up because I remember the 2012 team with Robert Griffin III being such a fun story and such a lightning in a bottle moment. They caught fire over the second half of the season. They actually started that year 3-6, and they came out of their bye and won 6 games in a row. This is a different story. much more consistent. Don't have to dig out of any holes. 7-2, so much fun. And I'm not going to say the lazy thing, because I don't need the Commanders to prove to me they're a good team. They went toe-to-toe with the Baltimore Ravens, who, when they're on, are as good as anybody in the NFL. And 7 wins is 7 wins. But I do still think the Commanders are looking for that crown jewel in their tiara, so to speak, when you talk about wins. I mean, the blowout win over Arizona looking better and better by the week as the Cardinals now improve to 5-4. But the rest of the wins on this Washington schedule, a lot of teams below or at 500. Again, it's not to say that the Commanders aren't for real, but it would mean something to me, I think, when you're talking about what is Washington's ceiling, to see them get a win against somebody that we think will be playing late in the year. Well, going to have a couple opportunities here over the next couple weeks, because it's Pittsburgh up next, like we talked about with Mark and Chris, and then a trip to play the Philadelphia Eagles, who all of a sudden are starting to look a lot like the team from 2022. So 2 big opportunities for Washington. It's going to be all eyes on Jayden Daniels. Not that that's anything new for him, as he caught up with our Christina Pink after this win.
All right, a tough division battle on the road. You know the Giants aren't going to go away quietly. How are you guys able to make the plays at critical times to seal this one?
Yeah, I think that's just a testament to the team. Our brotherhood, our will to want to win, and our hunger to want to win. It's put to the test. It's not easy to come on the road and play a divisional opponent. You played them twice already, so I'm very proud of this win.
Well, you talk about your pride in this win. You're doing it without Brian Robinson today, and the offense still seemingly continued to fight and roll. So what did you learn about this group?
Yeah, next man up mentality. And that's one thing that DQ and this staff does a great job, is breathing confidence into the players. No matter if you're the starter or you're a P squad guy, everybody's ready when the number is called and shot out today.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.